Hi, I'm Kimberly Williams, representing San Mateo County chapter of Surfrider Foundation on behalf of our thousands of members and supporters throughout the county. Some of our core volunteers, including myself, are longtime local residents of the San Mateo coastside, and we use this bridge regularly as well and enjoy the beach and its shoreline. Seawalls are in direct conflict with protection of the coast, and although they might protect property for a limited time, they exacerbate erosion of the beach. If we use seawalls to protect the coastal trail, we are sacrificing the very thing we want to access. Armoring the coastal trail with a seawall goes directly against the Coastal Commission's policies to maximize public access to the coast. A stairway to the beach is useless if the beach disappears. The Commission agreed with this in 2019 when they denied a proposal to armor the coastal trail just next door to the proposed bridge replacement at 2 Mirada in favor of landward relocation. The staff report concedes that relocating the Mirada Bridge would provide long-term protection and continuity of the coastal trail in light of coastal hazard impacts at the current bridge location. Our suggested alternative connects to an open path that is an old railroad right-of-way only a few steps from the current bridge location and which bypasses Mirada Road, which is also currently impacted by high tides and will need attention. Local residents often choose this path instead of walking along Mirada Road, so this would be a natural shift. We have the opportunity now to plan for the future and begin the process of taking sea level rise seriously by moving incrementally inland. Moving this bridge inland is low-hanging fruit. It is a relatively small step compared to more challenging decisions on the horizon that involve retiring buildings or compensating owners for structures or the cost of removal of structural debris as happened in Pacifica. If we can't address the low-hanging fruit as a beginning to help us get used to thinking and planning for these eventualities, how will we address much harder choices? Moving this bridge is the best option. If we can't follow sea level rise guidance and best practice in this circumstance, what circumstances will we be able to do so? We have the opportunity now to take a step in the right direction and begin the process of figuring out long-term solutions for this area that preserve the culture and environment of a natural, healthy coastline and beaches. If we wait for more parcels to be built and the neighborhood grows over time, it will be much harder to find a clear solution that we have the benefit of now for relocation of this bridge. We strongly encourage coastal commissioners to adhere to the sea level rise adaptation policy guidance and prior planning and permitting decisions that call for wise adaptation decisions now in order to preserve as much of our coastal resources as possible over the coming decades. Please choose to save San Mateo County's beaches today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Jennifer Savage, followed by Mandy Sackett, followed by Delia Benz-Kay.
My name is Ashley Gray from the San Mateo County.
Hi, good, is it afternoon yet? Good day, Commissioners, Chair Padilla. Jennifer Savage, Surfrider Foundation. I have a video to show. Thank you, Billy.
My name is Ashley Gray from the San Mateo County Surfrider Foundation. We are urging the California Coastal Commission to deny the current proposal by San Mateo County Department of Public Works to replace the Mirada Road Coastal Trail Bridge at the same location over Medio Creek, as well as a denial of the proposed increased coastal armoring. Surfrider greatly supports public access to and along the coast, but we must not destroy the very coast that we wish to visit and walk along. When we choose to armor a coastal trail instead of relocating it, we jeopardize the very purpose of access, enjoying our natural resources. Given the directives of the California Coastal Commission regarding armoring along this stretch of coast, as well as the short lifespan of a replacement in this location, this proposal isn't cost effective, nor is it in keeping with best practices and policy guidance to address sea level rise. Moving the trail inland is a better long-term solution in terms of cost and in terms of benefit to our beaches and coastline. Coastal armoring has consistently been shown to increase bluff erosion and loss of our beaches and is inconsistent with California Coastal Act policies. Proceeding to move the bridge and coastal trail inland sooner rather than later also avoids greater complications in terms of more substantial disruption, including for property stakeholders in future years. The chapter strongly encourages commissioners to adhere to sea level rise adaptation policy guidance and prior planning and permitting decisions now in order to preserve as much of our coastal resources as possible over the coming decades. Wise planning that will preserve our coast now and into the future requires us to make difficult decisions today. Thank you very much for your consideration for this long-term solution and taking into consideration the position of our membership, our friends, and our allies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Mandy Sackett, followed by Delia Benz-Kane, followed by Offer Amir. Ms. Sackett, it's now your turn to speak. Please unmute yourself and state your name for the record.
Good morning, Chair Padilla and Commissioners. Mandy Sackett, Surfrider Foundation. You've heard us say this before, it bears repeating. Surfrider greatly supports public access to and along the coast. We must not destroy the very coast that we wish to visit and walk along. When we choose to armor a coastal trail instead of relocating it, we jeopardize the very purpose of access, which is enjoying our natural resources and our natural shoreline processes. Surfrider supports the available alternative routes, including relocating the bridge over Medio Creek at Alameda Avenue, which is represented on exhibit page 17, figure 4. It's a 3rd mile reroute, not along Highway 1. The county has argued that a state of urgency exists here, making it necessary to reinstall the bridge at its current location. But the county has known about the need to address this bridge for an extended period of time without action. We're long past the time when we can say that coastal erosion and sea level rise are an unexpected emergency. The staff report states that inland relocation would potentially impact coastal riparian habitat, does not, however, adequately weigh that with ecological cost of accelerated erosion and beach loss. Both options come with ecological costs that must be fully mitigated. And special condition 2, the public access mitigation plan, requires a new stairway, access stairway and some access amenities, but it's insufficient to offset the coastal resource and ecological impacts that the proposed bridge and associated armoring would cause. Access to and along the coast does not offset the impact of accelerated beach erosion and the loss of the coast itself by the exacerbated erosion that seawalls cause. Coastal armoring should only be offset by the creation of additional coastal space and habitat nearby or in the region, a living shoreline or managed retreat type project, and sufficient financial resources to cover an appropriate project would be the only sufficient mitigation. We can't keep destroying our beaches and trying to mitigate it with new or more additional access stairways or access ways. Doing some type of living shoreline project, managed retreat, will maintain the habitat value as well as public access and recreational value. So please deny the proposed rebuild and direct the county to relocate the trail inland. There's options that are just as short as a 1/3 of a mile inland. So thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Delia Benz-Kane, followed by Offer Amir, followed by Lemoyne Fernandez. Ms. King, it's now your turn to speak. Please unmute yourself and state your name for the record.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Delia Benz-King, Northern and Central California Regional Coordinator for Surfrider Foundation. Just following up what the previous speakers have said. As we often see, the only people advocating for more armoring are the people living right on the coast, and the people to whom the beach actually belongs are largely absent from the discussion about whether or not to allow more armoring that will hasten its destruction, and whether or not they'd prefer having merely a view of the ocean instead of longer lasting access to it. The sea is migrating landward, and by moving the coastal trail in the same direction, the beach and the trail will align in the future, better serving the people in the long run. A small group of private property owners should not be able to override planning that benefits all people longer into the future. So again, please deny the proposed rebuild and direct the county to relocate the trail inland. Thank you.